This is Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the September 28th meeting of the Michigan City Sanitary Board. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Okay. I'm going to convene the Board of Commissioners regular meeting Wednesday, September 28th, 2022, in the Sanitary District Conference Room. I'm going to do a call to order. Holt?
Present.
Chris?
Present.
Tim?
Present.
And Tim Smith is present. Want to ask for approval of the meetings of the board meeting from Wednesday, August 24th. Can I get an approval, please?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Public comment?
Yeah, no comments. I just have a question. And I know that we're going to be talking about the Long Beach Sewer Project on our next subject, but has there been any correspondence back?
No, I've tried
since the board sent them, since you guys sent the letter?
I've tried to call. Yeah, I've tried to call a few times. I'll try to call again tomorrow. I hope to have an update at the next meeting.
Okay.
So, because, I haven't heard anything. I've left messages.
Right.
And I tried to call their lawyer, Chris Willoughby.
Yeah, so,
Left a message for him. I haven't heard anything back.
yeah, so we'll just talk amongst ourselves on this and see how we're going to reach them down. So I'll talk to Jim and figure out what we're going to do.
That's fine, but I just want to know so that at the next council meeting, I can inform the council of where we stand and inform the public where we stand in trying to recoup this $500,000
Right.
as a city of Long Beach.
I don't think it's $500,000.
Yes, it is.
$500,000.
511.
Okay.
500,000.
It's like 520.
Oh, that's for the additional.
500,000, 90,000 of it we still owe us.
Okay, that's, all right.
So it's only like 420.
Right, okay,
We're out.
yeah, okay.
But I did talk to Tim about it too.
Yeah, that's what I meant, too. We weren't out the total of $511,000.
Right. We haven't paid the 510 or
Right.
511 yet.
Right.
That's one thing. I also listened to the Long Beach Town Council meeting, their last one.
Yeah.
And there was no discussion during the finance section or any of the sections.
Okay, all right, so
I
we'll,
listened for like an hour.
yeah, so
When we
we,
got to the pickleball.
okay, all right. So Don, we'll get back to you on that. We just, we'll talk and determine between the board here how we're gonna handle that and how we're gonna communicate back to them and see if we can get a response.
Yeah, and if you would please let me know
Yep.
for the next council meeting so I
Sure.
can respond back to the city council on how we're proceeding with this.
Sure,
Thank you.
yep. All right, I don't think there's anything else on the,
Yeah, one more public comment.
yep, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, like, a nice job to the company that was working on the median down Michigan Boulevard. I was driving down there, coming to work the other morning. And they were tending to the flowers and stuff out there, and there were cones out there. And I didn't feel like I was gonna run over somebody when I was driving by there. So I just want you to know I appreciate it, I think the rest of the public appreciates that as well. So.
Thank you. That's okay. Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Okay, public commenting period is over. I think the Long Beach Sewer Project we already discussed, unless you have something else. All right. All right, Dan, safety?
Afternoon. The Water Reclamation Department had one recordable injury, but Refuse Department did not have any. So we're making some good progress in both areas. And the injury that occurred to the Water Reclamation Department employee, he's back to work now, full-time, no restrictions, and we had a good investigation on that. Regarding the activities on the disinfection process, quite a bit of activity there, and then also quite a bit of activity on the rest of the district on the safety activities that we're carrying out there. So I have a fairly detailed report, and if you have any questions, I'd be very happy to answer them.
Thanks, Dan. I'm asking, I want to make sure that you, does everyone have any questions at all from Dan?
No.
I think it's a great report. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's very, like you said, it's very detailed and really appreciate it, so thank you.
You bet. Tim, is this my quarter?
That is your quarter, go ahead.
Oh, well, I'll leave it right here. Thank you very much.
Possession is 9/10 of law, Dan.
All right, so next.
Mr. President, if I could just add that I think Mr. McCoy had an influence on some of the traffic control issues with the landscaping folks.
Okay,
So
thanks,
just want to say thank you also
Yeah.
to Mr. McCoy
thanks, Dan.
and Mr. Wright for giving us the credit.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay, let's go to the financial report. Scott?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we were reading a magazine, sorry. I'll start with the cash balances as of August 31st, 2022. The operating fund had $1,035,328.52. The municipal account had $5,653.13. Once again, that's kind of the payroll clearing account. The improvement fund had $973,996.47. Vehicle replacement had $154,464.04. Equipment replacement had $570,754. And the grant fund had no balance, for a total in that Horizon Bank account of $2,740,196.16. The two construction accounts, Indian Springs had $9,791.40. Whippoorwill had $635.40 for a subtotal of $10,426.80 in that account at Horizon. The SRF debt reserve had $501,063.28. SRF bond and interest at $52,535.43 for a total at the Bank of New York of $553,598.71. The Stormwater Fund had $727,405.77. The Refuse Municipal Account, again, this is kind of the payroll clearing account, had $1,153.82. The Refuse Account had $1,430,899.47. Special Revenue at $3,359.75. The levy excess at $8,522.14. The tax levy grant fund had $70,196.47. And the rainy day fund had no balance, for a total in that bank account at Horizon of $2,241,537.42. So the subtotal before the Carwick Remediation Fund at $5,545,759.09. Carwick Remediation Fund, we have $219,369.48 for a total cash balance of $5,765,128.57. Just a few points. Most of them are the monthly transfers, but on the equipment replacement fund, that actually it decreased $155,000 from the prior month. That was the final loan payment on the energy savings program. So now we took out a 5-year note, and so that one's been paid off. And then we also made, on the SRF bond and interest, we made our semi-annual payment of, I think that one was $239,000. One's $236,000. It's a total of $475,000 a year. So we made that payment. The next payment on that one will be due February 1st. So, and that's pretty much it. Just one point, and you'll see it coming up later on the docket. Woodruff and Son has processed a lot of invoices. And
we've gone through all those.
and we got all these invoices. The first 5 are on the docket, you'll see later. The last 2 that are in your packet will be on the next docket.
Okay.
But the cash balance will probably be, I don't know, I'm guessing about 900,000 at the end of September, just because of all the extra Woodruff and Son payments that we're making. But you'll see the dates for the construction and stuff.
I was gonna ask about that, if we had 165,000 just laying around in the drawer somewhere.
Wow, we do. Here's a quarter.
Okay, great, we're gonna start. Everyone can pile up on that, right?
All right. No, but we were able to pay, well, we have the money to pay it. Unfortunately, they're all, not unfortunately, the good news is they're under 100,000, and our capital policy is we only capitalize things over 100,000, and that's when I talked to Jim about taking it from the improvement fund. But since these are more like repairs, I mean, the big one I think was like 63,000, if I remember right, 53.
Yeah, 63, 519, 43, yeah.
Yeah, and that was the big one. So, but they're all under 100, so I didn't want to use up any of the improvement fund. And all the improvement vehicle and equipment, I expect those all to increase over the last quarter of the year. So by the end of the year, you'll see all those reserve balances go up.
Okay.
So that's it on the cash. And I'm gonna keep it quick after last month. The next 3 are the budget performance reports, and pretty consistent with the first 7 months of the year. Yeah, like we're tracking right along the budget. I mean, this budget really doesn't change a whole lot. The operating fund, there are some things, and I'm starting to think that we may have to do a cost of service study at some point in the future, just in case on the operating fund. Right now, I don't think we have to like increase fees or anything, but it is something we should probably do first quarter of next year. Cost of service study on the user rate fees for the sewer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that we should maybe pull the trigger on that Q4.
Okay.
And the reason is because then, if we need to implement something next year, then we already have a study on it.
Right.
So that would be my suggestion, Holt, you're the money guy.
It's reasonable.
All right, so let's go ahead and,
Well, it might take us a while because
I understand. That's why I want to
But
start
we'll
with
get
Q4.
started on it.
Yeah.
Because I can't do it. We'll have to hire Carl.
Yeah.
Sender.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right, you should integrate your asset management plan to
I'll
numbers.
get to that in a minute.
Everyone's jumping ahead here today. Someone have someplace to go?
Yes.
All right.
Well, you were late, so we're trying to make up.
Hey, Don?
Yeah, and since we're on finances, it's okay if I ask this question, because I know it's an issue with these refuse trucks. What are we doing as far as moving forward with that?
Can we do that? Let's do that on,
I can do it real quick right now.
all right.
Yeah, there's an ARPA meeting tomorrow night, and we're gonna attend the ARPA. We've asked for 3 refuse trucks and 624 toters out of the ARPA fund, because unlike most communities, our refuse is not user fees.
Yeah.
It's property tax, so we haven't been able to really replace many of our trucks. So we went to the ARPA committee and requested, and I think our total request was $1,150,000.
Okay.
So, and that's tomorrow night.
Again, Don, that was for 2 CNG side loading trucks. They're about 870,000.
Yeah, 435.
Clean diesel rear loading truck, 235,000. 624 totes at $45,432. We already ordered
Yeah, it was
200 totes.
300,
Three.
350 roughly,
350 totes.
340.
So we have, do you know when they're gonna,
I was hoping I would be able to tell you guys we got them this week. We haven't got them yet.
okay.
I'll call him tomorrow.
Then the additional trucks we're looking for, we're hoping that we can use some grant money for them.
And we started working with Drive Clean Indiana.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you're looking for, how many trucks now? 3?
yeah, we're looking for 3 right now. 2 are side loaders and 1 is a rear loader.
And the one
And
is,
Don, if you want this page, we can make a copy of it for you.
It was distributed to the,
Yeah, it was,
I'll take a copy.
it was distributed.
Of a meeting or what was going on, that's why
Yeah, Dan,
I was asking.
could I ask you to make me a copy of this?
I have a copy for you.
You have a
I'll
copy?
get some.
just rip that off.
Yeah, just give him that page.
Sure.
Yeah, and just a comment as far as, this issue with the trucks and how we got here, and this issue with the toters and how we got here, that, that the board would put some kind of replacement vehicle plan together so that we don't run up against the wall.
We have one, but there's no way to finance it.
Yeah,
the way to fund it.
yeah,
All of the revenues are used for paying operating expenses, mostly salaries and other personnel-related costs. And since the budget's been relatively flat,
Yes.
much less than the rate of inflation,
Especially this year.
especially this year, there's no way to save money.
There has never been
yeah.
any money. We've done it with granting, with
Riverboat.
riverboat funds. And
Okay, but I guess what my point is, because if we didn't have this ARP money given to us, that we'd be looking at riverboat money, and if we had other projects, they all get put on the back burner, is that, okay, if we knew we had,
Jim, we can't.
I
do
would
this, right?
think that we knew that we would use
Because we can't.
maybe
use it.
3 trucks a couple of years ago. We were figuring, hey, these things are
Sanitary.
coming down to be replaced.
Refuge.
Why don't we replace one now this year, replace one next year, and then the following year?
Sanitary trucks.
That's what my point is, instead of coming to the city council and say, hey, we need 3 trucks, like, right now.
Right.
That's how I got a grasp on all this, that 2 months ago, I was told we need 3 garbage trucks,
Right.
or we're not gonna be able to pick up the garbage.
Right.
I mean, to me, that's not the way to do it. We gotta have some kind of projection to say, okay, in 2025, we're gonna need another garbage truck, 2026, we're gonna need another garbage truck, 2027, we're gonna need a garbage truck. So let's start projecting out.
Yeah, we've had that in the budget and we've asked for those before, Don.
Yeah.
We have not gotten those. The money's for them.
Yeah, when I did the questionnaire for this year's budget, they asked for equipment and I put 4 garbage trucks.
Yeah.
And so I,
And explain again why we can't have a vehicle replacement fund for this?
there's just no funding available. I mean, you can do the plan, but there's no money
Yeah,
available.
so, I mean,
Our budget's like 3 million, and the other thing this year, which I don't believe is gonna happen, but out of all the city funds, the refuse and stormwater, actually, the controller's office, the estimate they were given was 400,000 less than what we got the previous 3 years. Now, that's not gonna happen, and I talked to Carl Sender and
Yeah.
other people. I expect us to still get the 2.1 million, 2.2 million property tax, but with inflation the last 2 years, I mean, this year it's running at 8.4% per Social Security, office. And the most we can hope for in property tax increases is 3.5% AV in a given year. And it's been running about 3.25%. So anyway,
Donnie, Councilman, there was a struggle. The refuse department had been functioning in the red.
Yeah.
Jim, how long?
Many years.
Many
Several
years.
years before 2012.
Well,
We took over in 2012, we started addressing that. It took quite a few years to overcome that deficit. We are at a balanced budget now, we are at a balance, but we're just balancing. Yeah, I mean, we're not,
Yeah.
there's not.
So we were working towards just getting the balance.
Right.
There was no funding and no way
Right.
to plan for that money because there was no
Yeah.
money.
We have roughly
So-
about
So we worked
400,000
at
reserve.
the CNG truck,
No, we just had a bunch of grants.
and granting,
Yeah.
that has carried us along with the riverboat.
Yeah.
And that was the
Volkswagen-
only option that was
Volkswagen-
available as we were working from
Volkswagen grant, we had
So we had,
CMAC.
year after year after year after year after year to try to,
I mean,
you are correct in
yeah, I mean,
wishing and hoping that we had, you know, a route
yeah.
that didn't exist. And,
Yeah, so all I'm saying, and I know you guys are doing your job as board members and all that, and I'm not being critical of that. I'm just saying that 2 months ago, I was made aware of this, and all of a sudden you got 3 garbage trucks that aren't even working. They're sitting in the shop getting repaired, but hey, now we need $1.5 million. Well, where are we supposed to get $1.5 million? So my point is, I know you guys, you know, you got a plan for the future, and that's all I'm saying, is try to plan for the future the best you can.
And done, that's
Because
a,
without let me finish, Mr. Smith. So without the funding from this ARP, you know, I don't know where we'd be, because we're, the riverboat money, we can't do a loan against the riverboat money. So that's my
You have to,
final comment on it.
you have to pay for it. So in the past, the riverboat funds have been used to buy trucks,
right.
Right.
so. And, you know, that's, unless the council is willing to go along with a plan to start charging people user fees for garbage, or for trash, garbage, instead of relying on tax-based funds.
Right.
There's really nothing the board can do to, you know, expand its revenue, which means, but you make a good point in reference to planning and make, you know, spreading it out.
Right, that's my
and
point.
Forecasting what you would need in 5 years, 2 years, whatever.
Right.
The district is working, I think the city is as well, but can't speak for them, on a asset management plan, which includes that type of thing. What assets you have, when they're anticipated, how old they are, what condition they're in, and, you know, when they're gonna need to be replaced, how much that costs, blah, blah, blah. So,
And we have done that. It's just, you know, you get down to the bottom and you're just, how are you gonna fund it?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
done, really, the opportunity, the ARPA money was, we actually put in for one of the side loaders, and the mayor said, let's put in for 2. So we're actually expanding it, thank you to the mayor for doing that at the last ARPA meeting. So this is really our opportunity to be able to fund some of these things we've been waiting to fund. But we're more than happy to work with you on a plan to either start the user fees or have an asset management where we can put it into the budget.
I have a
And,
more robust plan that I just got from Best Equipment
Okay.
that lists, like, you know, there's like 6, 7 categories of the trucks
Yeah.
and how you rank them.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you can do all that, but at the end of the day,
you have to have the money to,
you gotta have the money to.
But I hear what you're saying about trying to put a plan together, so, you know,
Okay, I appreciate your listening.
all right.
Okay. So anyways, back to the budget performance reports. And we're pretty much tracking right along budget for operating. And again, to your point, I'll call Carl and see, and we'll get going.
That's why I want to get going now.
Yeah, I hear it. And then the refuse, now we're tracking pretty well. Stormwater is tracking pretty well. The next thing I have, getting to the asset management plan, is a supplemental agreement with SEH Engineering to help complete the asset management plan. And this supplemental agreement is not to exceed $16,550 on page 2. So, as you can see, this is Exhibit A3, because they've been doing some work for us before.
So, did
So,
a prior contract for.
yeah, this is just a supplemental agreement. So I would ask the board to approve the supplemental, not to exceed $16,550.
I strongly recommend that the board approve this. Number one, you need to have an asset management plan now. We'll have to have it by June of
30th.
next year, or you will not be able to apply for SRF funds of any kind. Number two, the BIL, bipartisan infrastructure law is distributions of that are gonna come through the Indiana Finance Authority, the same agency that runs the SRF. They're gonna require an asset management plan before you're gonna be able to get any access to any of that BIL money. And there's gonna be, I don't know how much they'll parcel out to the cities, but there's, IFA is gonna be getting millions of that BIL money. So we need to get this asset management plan completed.
So,
We've been working on it for a year now.
so that's why I want to back it up. The asset management plan, we need to, so it says here that we're going to go through June 30th, 2023.
Well,
Which is
this should be done by the end of the year.
Yeah, so,
This is gonna be done.
all right,
Just in a second thing, last night I was here, we went live with the asset module
okay,
in our financial package, New World, which is the first step.
yeah,
So, I had to be here and we went through the test module and it looked really good. And now it's in the live and we're the first department of the city to go with this module.
okay,
So that all got done last night and
Thank you.
it looks good. And that's another piece of this asset management plan. Actually, that's kind of the first piece, to get a list of your assets in a format that the auditors, well, not only the auditors, but us can use.
Yep.
And it's the first time we've had something in 5 years since we lost support on the last software. So that was done last night.
okay.
So
So let me ask you a question. Once we have a list of asset management, or assets and everything,
Mhm.
then can we go through and take a look, to Don's point, of projected planning,
well, I'd like to do it
Looking
in 3 parts.
all right?
One for the operating fund,
Okay,
one for the refuse fund, and one for the stormwater fund.
okay,
Because they're all funded differently.
okay,
And I just think it makes sense to do 3 of them. And so you can see, because the operating fund really, that's gonna get to your cost of service study.
yeah,
Whereas refuse and stormwater are different.
right,
But, and unfortunately in the past, the list I had of assets had combined all 3 of those funds into one.
yeah,
So now we have the detail that splits it into those 3 funds, so we can do a better plan for each of them moving forward. So anyways.
okay. All right, thank you.
Question?
Yeah.
So Scott, what you're saying is this 16,550 supplement will be expended by the end of the year?
I would say so. I hope so.
Needs to be.
He was on vacation this week, so I couldn't get anything done this week.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, if
Why don't we change the date to December 30th or
instead of
31st?
June 30th, 2023.
Yeah, I mean,
June 30th, 2023 is the magic date when you absolutely have to have it.
Have to have it. So that's why they
So
put it there.
You want to have the flexibility if you don't get it right the first time 100%.
okay,
That has to be done some tweaking or something that you know.
I just don't want to, I don't want to have it extended. I know Tim's looking at that too. The reason,
Scott will be driving the boat, they just respond and help him when he asks for it, so he'll be the one making sure things get done by December 31.
I want this thing
So
done.
you're fine with it saying through June 30th?
Yeah,
all right,
because I think we'll probably do, well, I don't know. We've actually used some of this already.
I was wondering about that, I imagined that was the case.
I
Not much. I know. You just move ahead. Just move ahead. Not much.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the supplemental letter agreement with
CH of Indiana.
CH of Indiana, please? SEH of Indiana.
So moved.
Second.
So,
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved.
Okay, and then I'm out of here after the next thing. We had the closing meeting for the 2021 audit from the State Board of Accounts on Monday. Mr. Yagelski was there, I was there, Mr. Miladovich was there. They're gonna issue the report, they have 45 days, so we can't really say much about it. But I would just say, I think I can say this,
look, the district was clean.
it was consistent with last year. It was the way I was gonna put it. So, and Chris can, it was, and it actually went pretty well, I thought. But hopefully by the next meeting, I'll have the reports for you.
Okay.
And,
Okay, well, a good job, guys.
that's all I
Really
have.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, update on projects. Come on up, Steve.
Thank you. Okay, the first item in the nature of a project is a new PSA for McCoy and Associates to continue with the safety consulting services for another 2 years. The quarterly maximum price remains the same as the last contract. And it includes about a $6 an hour increase for Mr. McCoy's rate. So the highlights.
How many clones does he have of himself to do all this stuff? My gosh, it was quite a list as I went through
So I
it.
would recommend that that you all approve of entering into this PSA with McCoy and Associates.
Pardon? I'll give him the whole thing.
No, just give him the one page.
Okay.
And Dan already made a copy of it and gave it to him.
Oh, okay.
Efficiency is already done, guys. Let's go.
Cool.
All right. Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to approve the professional service agreement with Dan McCoy and Associates. Please.
So moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Dan, thank you for all the work you've done. Great job. Really
Yes,
appreciate
indeed.
it. Keep it up.
Really enjoyed working with this.
Okay, my next item is US 12 and Custer Avenue Stormwater Drainage Improvement Project. HRP provided us a preliminary construction schedule that appears to show they could begin as early as the second week of October. And for our DOT representative on the board, I did mail, I mailed an amended right-of-way permit application.
Okay.
To LaPorte.
To Indianapolis or to LaPorte District?
Send it to LaPorte District.
Hope it comes through.
Your P.O. box.
Yeah, and that's, I don't even have one, so.
Okay, I don't have anything to report on 2510 Wabash or 404 Golf View. Still working with Scott to see which one of these we can get funded, if any of them this year. Okay, California Avenue Drainage Improvement Project. We've entered into a this is informational, construction agreement with Reith Riley for $9,200 to install 3 speed bumps to redirect the stormwater into the existing collection system.
That was the map that you showed us last.
Right,
Correct.
this is all an element of Mr. Doyle's plan.
Okay.
If we do something like this again, let's call it a stormwater diversion installation rather than a speed bump, because there really isn't anybody speeding through the parking lot. Hopefully.
Actually, the residents tell me they do.
Well, good, they don't work for both things.
So at least one resident's quite happy to see it.
Good. I imagine so. Keep water out of the patio of that condo right there to the
Yeah.
parking lot.
Right, on the 6-acre land donation, we're gonna be able to start spending money on the new brownfields fund starting on October 1st, so that'll be one of the projects I'll put at the top of the list to get done. Cheney Run Wetland Preserve at Kerwick Nature Park. In your packet, you've got a draft press release that I prepared that I would like to release.
Any questions on it?
I make a motion to approve the press release draft to be put out by.
Alright. Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Go ahead.
Steve, just real quick, does this mean Woodruff has a final completion on it?
Not yet.
Okay, I'm just asking because we still have that 220,000 cash in the Starlight fund.
Understand that?
And I was gonna talk to Mr. Meyer about what to do with it.
Well, I believe we still owe Woodruff some retainage.
We do,
Yeah.
but then we're supposed to do some maintenance.
Board 10.
Right,
I think we all should.
that's what you need to keep it for.
Just keep it there.
So I think the board should be at this.
I'm gonna invite everybody whose name I can remember.
10 years and the mayor's on board.
Great, thank you.
We talked earlier about it.
Okay. Great.
Okay, on Strebel Pond restoration, RUS did not really provide a report. I requested that last week and it did not come through. In your packet though, you have a professional services agreement with Olivia's Tree Service to get us into a tree trimming and pruning program out there because it's really growing wild out there. And we wrote it for $10,000 that could do some good for that. I would like for us to consider this kind of an annual process where we keep after the trees because it's gotten out of hand for over 10 years. It's time to rein it in.
I asked a couple of my maintenance staff to give me an idea of what they thought just based on looking at Google Earth images and everything, and they thought this was a deal, so.
We're gonna do it again next year. The contractor told me it could be 50 grand to do it all at once.
So,
Okay.
I'd like to ask the board for approval to enter into this PSA with Olivia's Tree Service.
Can I get a motion to entertain into the professional service agreement with Olivia's Tree Service LLC?
so moved.
Second? Do I have a second?
Second.
Holt, are you good with it?
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Strebel Pond Lights, we already talked about that. All you have in your packet is an email from Andy Skiatz on the chain describing the fact that those poles that they had over there that day were unacceptable and we're waiting for some better ones.
Okay.
300 North and US 421 sewer project update. Mr. Gorski, okay. Add something on that?
Yes, sure do. John Gorsica, District Construction Engineer. Basically, mostly water main work is being done. The D&M has been on site placing water main and fire hydrants on County Road 950 West. Sanitary work since September 1st, and as of today, they placed the barrel sections of the wet well and valve vault for the lift station. That's complete. The jack and bore of the interstate for 240 feet of 16-inch steel casing pipe for the 6-inch force main has been completed. That's just a casing pipe. Force main is scheduled probably for in 2 weeks. Installation of the sanitary sewer line across 300 North from the lift station to the north side of 300 North, approximately 100 feet east of 421 has been completed. We had a progress meeting this past Thursday, and questions proposed to the district, including a connection agreement between the district and waste management, easements for the new sewer that the county obtained need to be assigned to the district, documentation from the county authorizing the district to provide sanitary service to waste management and all other connections, and fees for lateral permits outside city limits will be $500 for single and multi-family dwellings and $1,000 for all others. That's all I have.
Thank you, John. Very nice.
Thank you.
Okay. Energy savings projects. Okay. The August plant electric bill, our adjusted energy savings amounted to $1,430.48, as shown on the report. If you go to the third page of this report, look at this bit here. You can see that since the energy savings project has been installed, we had 56,000 savings the first year, and it's been going up. We've been keeping it going upward ever since by tweaking our operations, increase efficiency. So I think that's working out pretty well for us.
Very much so, it looks like, yeah.
All right, the next item you got in your packet here is this tax year 2020 C&G spreadsheet. I have described how much money this saves us. You can see this is like buying gasoline for $1.50 a gallon, and that includes the electricity to compress it. Wow. Well, unfortunately, the IRS, the statute for the special excise tax refunds that we were getting, 50 cents a gallon, that ended at the beginning of this year. I'm hoping they'll bring it back, but this is still our gallon cost with including the 50 cents special excise tax. So that's, and the second page of this report here, I just put together a graph so you can see how we've been trying to leverage our CNG by increasing its use. Since 2018, we've increased it 78%.
Just as a note on that, side note, the two side loaders that we're going to get are going to be CNG as well.
Yes, sir.
So, that's, will be another cost savings on fuel.
Absolutely. Okay, so that's informational. Item N, repair of the sanitary sewer in the 1100 block of Rural Road. The contractor is still putting us off on this. They keep saying it's going to be 2 weeks out, and it keeps slipping. I don't have anything new to report on the admin structural evaluation, except for the fact that we can't find any decent plans for the building. And so I talked to Shem, and Shem is suggesting that we dig a test pit alongside the building back here so that we can get a look at the actual foundation system as built.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good idea.
Yes.
We can use our own guys to dig the hole and fill it back in.
Okay.
Indeed.
Okay. Item P, 2022 to 2025 Brownfields Grant. You've got the official notice of award here. It was dated August 15th.
Excellent.
Yeah, this is great. The next item was a consultant RFQ that we sent out on August 29th. Consultants interested in submitting qualifications on this, they were due on August 19th. We only received one submittal from one consultant. That was BCA Environmental, which was the same outfit that handled it, the first grant for us.
I have a point, I guess, on the fifth page under experience on 4 and 5. We talk about the submitter needs to show experience and demonstrate success in working with the Metropolitan Sanitary District and/or the City of Michigan City on long-term brownfield or grants. From the consultant side, having my experience, that would tell me that we guys have already decided on somebody. I would recommend we don't say experience with us directly, but just experience. And we talk about that later on in, 8 or something, and I see, when I looked through the proposal, they showed all the experience that they had with more than 5 different communities. But I think if we take out showing the specific experience with us, that opens the door to more consultants who would be happy to give us a proposal.
I think that's a good suggestion.
So it's nice to say, and if you have experience with Michigan City, please show that experience. But to put that on there, that kind of, if I picked this up as an RFP when I was working for consultants, and I know that if they have already decided somebody.
There, we work with several consultants.
And none of them submitted yet.
No.
But anybody new we haven't might look at that and just see that that's might not
And I
be as open.
kind of agree with Tim, and we should be doing that on some of our other contracts and RFQs as well, because there's new vendors out there all the time, and why aren't we trying some additional vendors?
We do, and it's been a challenge to get some of them to wait.
Yeah, no, I agree. We talked about that before, but I just think if we make it a little easier for people to submit, like Tim is saying, maybe that's a way to go. It's not a criticism, it's just saying, hey,
That's a good suggestion.
maybe we should do that, and maybe we'll be able to, find a few other people out there that have the qualifications.
Having worked for many different consultants, I know as we worked on RFP responses, and if we see something like that, it's like, let's not spend too much time on this, because they probably already have somebody in mind. Okay?
All right. And then the third item under P is this is a statement of qualifications. BCA Environmental Consultants submitted to us. I reviewed it. It looks responsive, and I would like to be able to move. Well, first of all, we have to complete the evaluation of this thing. We've got an official form that we score these with. And Mr. Meyer's gone through his, Mr. Mladovic's gone through his, and I've completed mine. And all 3 of us scored them very highly because they're quite successful for us.
Yeah.
I was disappointed with that.
Well, I guess my question is, and Jim, this is a legal question or whatever. I'm just wondering if maybe, to Tim's suggestion, that even though we have this qualification, that maybe we can we go back out and look at this? Do we need to do it right away? And take the suggestion Tim did out of the RFQ that you send out and see if there's any other folks that would want to submit?
I would just say, I don't think so, just because the current grant is ending soon.
Okay.
And this is an extension pretty much of, it's a second grant, but the first one, I believe, ends at the end of September.
So September 30th is the last.
We got some of these projects going that this grant is gonna pay for. That's one thing. Second thing is BCA, in working with them, have been great. We had an EPA audit last year, and they're flying colors.
Well, yeah.
They are.
And, we get paid, like, when they invoice us, we pretty much get the money back the same day from the EPA.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of admin that's been set up. So from my perspective, I'd rather see us continue with BCA.
They've demonstrated technical proficiency in it.
Yeah.
And
They also drafted and prepared the application for the money at no charge to the district.
Okay.
So, this is, and it's a continuation of the current program. While it might be good for other consultants to have opportunity for the citizens, your constituents, is what's the most efficient use of the funds and how do you get the maximum bang for your buck. And having somebody who's already involved in the program doesn't have to start from square one to, a learning curve as to how because there is a learning curve in reference to how the city has to operate.
Right.
And the financial hoops you have to jump through, I guess you'd call it, for reporting all of this stuff. I don't think it'd be worthwhile to put it back out on the street from the citizen, from a efficiency perspective.
Yeah. Okay. Discussion from any of the commissioners at all? So guys, I think you can tell by the quietness of the commissioners here that we need to expand this. I mean, we'll go ahead and vote on it today because we want to make sure that it's good for the citizens of Michigan City. But I think in the future, we want to figure out how to expand some of these and try to get some of the new vendors in. And I think we need to make that a policy with all down the road. Okay?
And I would recommend if the board members know new vendors, because a lot of these, you not only advertise in the newspaper, but we used to add in the paper, but we also, Steve sends out directly, email-wise, to ones we know might be interested and that we would be, basically willing to hear from.
Right.
So if you can give them names and.
Well, it's not only that. Let's look at these how we're going to reword them, so we're not excluding people. That's my comment on it too, and I think maybe Tim has some additional ones that he can add into this, but it's really kind of looking at how we're writing these and making sure that we're not excluding vendors because of the way you're writing it.
Or even the perception of excluding potential.
Yeah. So, all right.
Good idea.
I will ask a motion to approve the using BCA environmental consultants for the evaluation of the US EPA, the community-wide brownfields assessment.
I'll make a motion to continue.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
The next item, this is notice of award for the Adams Park Stormwater Wetland Restoration Project. Delta Institute put together the application for this particular grant under contract for us. And this is dated July 14th. And part of the reason I didn't discuss it last month is because they only emailed it to Michael Fuss. So we'll have to get working on this.
This will probably be one of the first projects you can do the broader consultant request.
Yep. Okay. And that award is a total of $585,444. Okay. All right.
And the project itself costs more than that. I don't remember how much, but we're looking to get money from the redevelopment commission. Alternatively, additional source.
That's why I asked, because I thought there was a larger budget on there.
This is again a 50-50 match.
All right,
Like
that makes sense.
Cheney Run was.
Okay.
Okay, these are the Woodruff invoices that were discussed. You want me to read through these, Mr. Smith?
They're all on the docket.
Yeah, they're all on the docket, so I think we're good. Let's do the ones that are on the docket, and then, did I understand that there were a couple that weren't on the docket today?
First
five are on it.
All right.
Last two.
The last two would be the
All right,
next one.
so we'll just go ahead, Steve, and just approve these when we approve the docket.
Super.
These are all just for the public's acknowledge these are all emergency and urgent sanitary repairs, so,
For all of which a contract was
yes.
entered into and written contract and approved.
Yep.
There is one thing, Steve, you might wanna explain the cost share, you know, because we have two of these projects, we actually share that total cost with the residents.
Right, so
Yeah, that's the last
on those
item on
cost share ones, our share is half of each amount.
And there's-
325 Hobart Street and 416 Pearl Street.
Yes, sir. The customers pay the other half.
Okay, so you just gave the addresses, so those two that Tim just gave the addresses of the cost sharing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay,
So from staff reports, that's all I have.
okay.
Thank you.
So I think with the staff reports, we all read them, right? I think, you know, these guys are doing a great job. Steve, I'd invite you, if you see one on a monthly basis, and you just want to highlight for the public.
Yeah.
There is something that I would like to highlight.
Okay, I'll come to my rescue.
Please hold.
On our operations manager, just a big compliment. I think maybe 4 or 5 months ago, we had an issue, a gentleman come in, talk about an issue that, a structure at Greenwood and I think White Oak. And I have been by there a few times, saw Cone sitting there and, you know, saw it blow over a few times and come back and it's still there. But I just wanted to compliment the entire staff, Steve and Mike, as to this in-house completion of the project, that you guys took the heat of that, and, you know, it appears as though it saved the district up to almost nearly $20,000. That beams out on your report, and it certainly beams that very bright that the district is really making some good decisions. So congratulations to the staff. And that kind of savings, that is big time money.
We're trying.
So nice work. It's completed.
Yes, sir.
And it came out very nicely. So, well done.
Yep, thank you guys for that, greatly appreciate
Steve,
it.
a quick question if I may.
Yes, sir.
So as public record requests, the first item, 2946 Mankey Road, lien search. Is that the GIF property?
I honestly
Because
don't.
Mankey Road is in Trail Creek, and then it turns as Cool Spring to the east towards the cemetery, Swan Lake. And 2946 would be near the end of that. I thought that was all county property out there. That was just, you know, since I grew up on Mankey Road, I was just wondering.
Quite honestly, it's I don't map every one of these out necessarily. In this case, I would have gone to Mel and said, do we have any liens on this property?
Okay.
And she says, no. I just,
Okay.
they respond, we know what I mean.
Yeah, just personal curiosity. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Steve, really appreciate it. You're welcome. Good work. All right, Jim, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Finalizing and tweaking, I guess, at this point, been doing this now for, over a year, and we've been working on it, or the county has been working on this project for like 3 years, that 421-300 project, but it appears anyway that we're getting close to an end of, and the documents are, our standard forms for connecting customers and whatnot to the sewer system, but the county, and there'll be a transfer, the sewer transfer agreement from the county to the district, for no cost to the district, of course. Plus, as was mentioned, the assignment, as John mentioned, the assignment of easement. Because they had to get easements any place where they put this sewer. So anyway, that, I would say that project should be done before the end of the year. Other than that, I'm not sure that there's anything other than all the things that we've talked about. We have resolved the,
We can discuss that.
Go ahead, sorry.
Okay. I can't remember what I said.
Sorry, Jim, I apologize. I was just asking about the leachate. And I just,
Okay,
Yeah.
we've already done, way back in 2018 is when Waste Management for Deer Crop
yeah,
submitted a request to the sanitary district to agree to take their leachate, they're trucking it now. And Michael Cuss at the time was general manager, and of course he told them the obvious response that, well, we need to know what's in it. So they provided a bunch of test results eventually, and turned out that it was, treatable, let's call it, by the sanitary district.
okay,
So he sent them a letter saying that, if it got here, we could treat it, and would accept it. So that kind of started the ball rolling downstream for the county project, because my understanding is, and I don't have anything documented, but, rumor has it, so to speak, that Waste Management is kicking in a substantial amount of money for that project.
The other thing I'm concerned about is that 2018, there's a lot that's come on PFAS, PFO, and all of these different things
Right.
since then. There's longer short chains, there's long chains that are happening with this, and I think the state of Indiana is still at 70 parts per trillion, but they're gonna ratchet it down. So if we get this into our sanitary district, just like the discussion has been out east and other places in the country, can we handle it in our system?
I have had conversations with Steve some time ago, and he handles our pretreatment.
Yeah.
And we are requesting additional testing from Waste Management to identify any.
And how many parts per
chemical
trillion and all of the other analytics there. But I think before we move too much further, we need to know what the analytics are from them.
Right,
Absolutely.
right, and that is a precondition to obtaining the pretreatment permit, is knowing what you're getting, to
But,
verify that whether or not you can treat it.
okay,
Not only the impact on our sludge disposal, but also
Right, right.
pass through.
Right,
so especially if you're doing land apply on it like we are.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of cases with farmers and different people out east that now they're having fields that are contaminated, so
Right.
I think we just wanna make sure that we're doing the right thing here.
Yeah, a couple of meetings back, we talked about the concentration of PFAS and that, and I just see in this month's Water and Waste Digest, it says the EPA has begun requiring publicly owned treatment works to identify upstream industrial users potentially discharging PFAS. The state permit issuing authorities will follow the EPA's lead, so.
Right, I had discussions with Mr. Cuss when he was still here about the need for the district to sample and test our discharge for that purpose. I believe some of it was done at some.
Yes.
There are very few, number one, there is not a lab in the world that can test
Down to that level, right.
that EPA says you're supposed to, even to the level of detection of that, because there's a level of detection level, and then there's a level of
No, let's,
quantification level.
yeah, but let's clear that up, that hasn't even happened yet, that's a suggested level.
No, right.
So you're exactly right. There are labs that can't test to that. That's what the argument is. That's what's in the Federal Register right now, and will be addressed at the commenting period of that.
Right.
So they haven't even gotten to the commenting period yet.
Correct.
So what we need to do is just figure out, where our limits are. I don't care if this is 2018 or not. It's a different day now.
Yeah.
So we've got to figure this out before we ever move forward with anything like this into our treatment center. Because I saw that in a different
Magazine or something,
Yeah.
yeah. different source.
so the EPA still is at 70 parts per trillion, but somewhere down the road, depending on what happens, they may still stay there, they may adjust it down, but depending on what happens with the commenting period, that's still a couple years away. This agreement's going to be done before those laws are ever in place, so we could find ourselves in trouble if they get down to those levels. But you're exactly right, there are no labs that can test that today.
Right, but there are labs that can test it at Indiana level,
Yes.
which is what they're required to do.
Yes, exactly. So, but I think Indiana is still at 70 parts per trillion.
I believe that's correct.
So you've got like Michigan that encompasses 6 of these, and other states that they're down to 20 parts and 13 parts per trillion now.
Right.
So we just need to kind of figured that out.
They're on the side of caution, absolutely. And it was the hot topic at the Fort Wayne Annual Conference for the Indiana Water Environment Association.
Okay. Anything else? Sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
distract you.
No, I can't think of anything at this point.
Okay.
Unless there's something, anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to.
Any questions or anything, guys? Okay.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. Really appreciate it. All right, so item 12 is approval and allow revenue and tax levy claims for payment. Can I get a motion? Can I get a second, please?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. All right. Any old business? Any old business? Any old business? Any new business? Any new business? Any new business? If not, then I'm gonna ask a motion to adjourn,
Can I
please.
just make one comment?
Yes, go ahead, Mike, sorry.
I'm
just
I'm
made
sorry. I'm hoping that we can secure support from Councilman Kozlinski and the ARPA funds.
Okay. Don, if you need anything else on that or explanations, please give us a call and we're happy to sit down with you and, explain why we're doing this or what it is, so.
Yeah, I pretty much understand
Okay,
why it needs to be done.
okay. All right,
Short, for government, so.
thank you. All right, motion to adjourn?
Motion is moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, we stand adjourned, gentlemen. See you at our next regular meeting, October 26th.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, don't take off on me too quick.
Yeah.